What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC Vegas 108. We have Tatsuro Taira going against Hong Sung Park. We are back in the Apex. It's been a while since we've been in the Apex. We have an Apex card this week and next week. And yeah, looking forward to this card. So last week I came on here and I sang a tune and people loved it and it was great. But then I proceeded to have the worst week ever. So no singing this week, all business. It's time to be serious, and what I'll do is, if I have a winning week this week, I'll be singing Zombie by the Cranberries in honor of Priscilla Cachoeira fight week next week. If I don't have a winning week, if I have a losing week, I might never sing again. I might just hang up the vocals. So it's going to be a very important week. I have a lot of motivation for this week to get back on track because the last week and a half has been absolutely brutal. The prelims for UFC 318 were phenomenal. The main card was awful, and UFC Abu Dhabi was awful. So got to get back on track. Got to circle the wagons, and I'm liking this week. So before we get into it, if you guys could do me a huge favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. A Contender Series coming up. I believe the first card is August 12th, so I'm going to be doing a lot of Contender Series content. It is the absolute worst time of the year for me just because I am kicking my own ass day in and day out, researching an extra 5 fights and doing a ton more content. But it's worth it because, I guess it's worth it. All right, let's get into this card. We have 12 fights, 11 fights, 12 fights, who knows? Anyway, we're going to kick it off, and this bout order is incorrect because this card has just been ridiculous. We didn't even know the main event of this card until Monday. So we'll start with Bashi, John Yannis. So I think there's a lot of different ways to attack this one. And my favorite spots in this fight, they got Bashi by sub out there at plus 100. I was not expecting that good of a line. I think that's a great bet. Bashi inside the distance around minus 150, I think is a great bet. For me, I played the Bashi in the under 2.5 round same game parlay plus 105, and I have 2 units on that. I fully expect Bashi to go out there, take down John Yannis, and finish him within the first 2 rounds. There's no excuse for going out there and not being able to get John Yannis out of there. John Yannis has taken this fight on short notice, and you go and watch the tape on John Yannis, and it's like, this guy is arguably down 3 rounds to Nick Aguirre in his last fight. This is a guy that's been taken down, been submitted before. If Austin Bashi is who I think he is, he's going to go out there and he's going to rinse this dude on the mat. He's minus 800 for a reason, so I'm hoping he goes out there and gets the finish. So I'm on the Bashi under 2.5 same game parlay, 2 units at plus 105. I love it. It should hit, and I'm hoping Bashi goes out there and makes a statement after dropping his last fight against Christian Rodriguez. If you don't have the same game parlay, I think the sub at plus 100, it might even be a better look, but sub plus 100, I like it. Bashi inside the distance, I like it. And then I'm on that Bashi under 2.5 round same game parlay plus 105. I like it. Next, we're going with Pierre Rodriguez going against Ketlin Souza. Nothing here. I think Rodriguez should win this fight. Minus 220. I think it could be a potential parlay piece. I'm personally trying to stay away from. I feel like parlays are cursed for me, at least these last 2 years for me. Like parlays have, it doesn't matter what I parlay, it loses. So I'm trying to stay away from the parlays this week and in the future. But yeah, Pierre Rodriguez should be a good parlay piece. I think she gets takedowns here and probably wins this fight by decision, but nothing really sticking out other than maybe the money line as a parlay piece. Up next, we have Rafael Estevam going against Felipe Bunes. And I do have a spot I do like here. So Estevam missed weight, which is not a shock. He's missed weight before. He's very big for the division, and he's taken this fight on somewhat short notice. So it's not a shock that he missed weight. And he missed weight by a good chunk. He weighed in at 130 pounds, which is a really big weight miss. And but the UFC does not punish cheaters. You can go in there, you can grab the cage, you can poke your opponents in the eyes, you can grab the gloves. You can cheat all you want. You can cheat all day long. They're not going to take a point. You can miss weight by 5 pounds. They're going to take 25% of your purse. And that's what they did. They took only 25% of Estevam's purse, which is ridiculous and quite frankly dumb, but it is what it is. Bunes accepted the fight. The weight miss, it helps Estevam by a mile. This is a guy that shouldn't be fighting at flyweight. He's huge. He has a 5-pound extra weight advantage. It didn't even look like he tried to cut weight. The 5 pounds heavily helps Rafael Estevam, who's already a minus 650 favorite. So I fully expect Estevam to cruise here. I expect Estevam to get his very first finish. Felipe Bunes has been finished in 3 of his 7 losses, 1 by knockout, 2 by submission, and Estevam does not have a finish yet in the UFC. Both of his wins do come by decision, but look at who they're against. Charles Johnson, who is borderline unfinishable, and then Jesus Aguilar, who's also very tough and hard to finish. Whereas Bunes, I don't think he's that tough. I don't think he's unfinishable. So I like Estevam to get the finish here. I was expecting a much better price on Estevam inside the distance. Plus 140 is not great. A lot of people are expecting this fight to go the distance. The fight doesn't go to decision, and it looks like I might have to give my graphics guy a call because the fight doesn't go to decision is not, I don't know what's even going on. So I'm going to give him a call, and I'm going to chew his ass out, but the fight doesn't go to decision is sitting at best price around plus 100. So, yeah, I think the fight doesn't go to decision at plus 100 is a really good look. And I didn't play it because I played the fight ends by submission at plus 330 for 1 unit. So that's what I'm on here. But after the weigh-ins especially, I think the fight doesn't go at plus money is a very good look this week. But I took the fight ends by sub because Bunes has been subbed twice. I expect this fight to take place on the ground 90% of the time. I think Bunes, like if Bunes is winning this fight, look at Bunes. I mean, a 64% submission rate for Bunes. And Estevam is a slick grappler who's going to be on top and going to get into dominant positions. So I think the fight ends by sub at plus 330 is a really good look. I think the fight doesn't go to decision at plus 100 is a really good look. And I may or may not add on with like a fight doesn't go to decision bet. We'll see. I might just keep it with the fight ends by sub. But yeah, I like violence here. I think somebody's getting served. Up next, we have Rodolfo Vieira going against Tresean Gore. It's a pass here for me on this one. I don't know. Like Tresean Gore missed weight. Another bad weight miss. I think he missed weight by like 3 pounds. Not as bad as Estevam, but still very bad. And that weight miss is going to obviously help Gore. Gore didn't look like he really tried to cut the weight. I mean, he said it. He said he tried his best. It didn't really look like it. So not even close for Tresean Gore. And Vieira is going to try to get takedowns, and it's going to be tough, I think. I think it's going to be tough for Vieira to get takedowns against Gore, who Gore's very physically strong, really good takedown defense. He's a solid grappler as well. I kind of feel like this fight might be a fight that takes place on the feet a lot more than people expect, and if that's the case, I wouldn't really want to be laying minus 205 on Vieira, really ever. That's not something I really ever want to do. But yeah, I can see this fight playing out a bunch of different ways. I think the over 1.5 is interesting. But then again, if Vieira gets on top of Gore and gets on top of the guy and could potentially choke him out. So I can see this fight playing out a bunch of different ways. Nothing really sticking out here for me on this one. Up next, we have Rinya Nakamura going against Nathan Fletcher. Nothing on this one either. What I will say is I think Rinya's a solid parlay piece just because I really struggle to see him losing this fight. Even if he goes out there and fights completely dumb like he did in his last fight, I think he still wins it. I think it's a horrible matchup for Nathan Fletcher. Rinya Nakamura as a parlay piece is a solid look this week. If you're looking for a parlay piece, that's pretty safe, I'd say. But other than that, not much sticking out. The decision prop at minus 140 is disgusting. I think he could win by any method here, Nakamura. Up next, we have Andre Pulyaev going against Nick Klein. And I took the dog shot here on Nick Klein, 1 unit at plus 140. So I was researching this fight, and instantly my pre-tape thoughts on this fight was Andre Pulyaev's horrible. And I still think he is. And I really wanted to bet against him. And then I go and tape Klein, and it's like, oh, man, Klein's not that great either. This is bad. This is a very bad fight. So I said, I'm just going to pass. And at the time, the fight was a pick'em. I was like, okay, I'm going to pass on it. And then Andre Pulyaev gets steamed to minus 150 on Sunday, Monday. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And the line's been there all week. And a lot of people are on Pulyaev. And I just don't see it with this guy. This guy, Pulyaev, has one okay performance. It was against Liam Anderson, who's a walking punching bag. Other than that, the tape is just awful. Everything I've seen from Pulyaev is just awful. It's just so bad. I mean, he's big, but that's about it. So I don't get it. And Nick Klein, he's not the best fighter in his own right, but I just feel like, I don't see where Pulyaev is minus 150, minus 175 anywhere in this fight. I don't think he has the highest volume on the feet. His takedown defense isn't great. The cardio isn't great. I don't know. I just don't see it. So I took the dog shot on Klein. I do worry about the cardio of Klein. I do worry about what happens if this fight gets extended, but Klein has some paths here. I think the fight is going to be a lot closer on the feet than people expect, just because Pulyaev is low volume, and I think Klein has all the grappling upside, and I think Klein has a lot of the finishing upside as well. So I took the dog shot on Klein. It's typically a fight I wouldn't bet, and it is borderline 1-800 gambler, but I just don't see in what world Andre Pulyaev should be minus 150 really against anybody ever. So yeah, took the dog shot. It could end very poorly because I just don't think either one of these guys are that good. But one guy's plus 140. Up next, we got Kevin Vallejos, Danny Silva. Yeah, nothing sticking out here. Vallejos, I think, should get the win, but I don't love the line. I mean, I know there's a lot of hype on this guy, but Danny Silva's a guy that can go out there and, put up a ton of volume. Danny Silva is hittable, and that's kind of where I think Vallejos is going to land a lot, land the harder shots, the bigger shots. I kind of feel like this fight might go deep, if not go the distance. But I think Vallejos gets the win. Just not sure he looks minus 435. I think there's much better parlay pieces on the board. Up next, we got Zaleski going against Neil Magny. I like Zaleski here. I'm kind of shocked people are betting Neil Magny. I know when he's losing to good guys, but it's like, you look at his last 5-6 fights, and he just looks like a corpse out there. He looks completely washed. He looks completely done. Every time somebody lands a leg kick or any punches on him whatsoever, just horrible reactions. He can't grapple these days. I mean, Neil Magny looks just very bad. And like on the feet, like Zaleski can absolutely knock out Neil Magny, who I don't think has a chin anymore. And if this fight were to hit the ground, I think Zaleski can sub him. So yeah, there is a path for Magny. The path is Magny holding Zaleski against the cage for 15 minutes. But, if that's the only path, I mean, I kind of like Zaleski quite a bit. This is a older fight. Both guys are, almost 40 years old. But I feel like Zaleski has a little bit left in the tank, whereas Neil Magny just hasn't shown me anything. He hasn't shown me any durability. He hasn't shown me any striking, any grappling. He can cage push still, but it's hard to pick a cage pusher to win a fight, to be honest. I like Zaleski here. I took Zaleski inside the distance, 1.25 units at plus 185. The Zaleski money line at minus 180. It makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know how Neil Magny wins this fight outside of some cage push bullshit. So, yeah, Zaleski for me. I think Zaleski's live to finish as well. Up next, we got Karol Rosa going against Nora Cornolle. Pass. Minus 190 for Rosa. I get it to an extent. Like, I think she's, like, skill for skill. Yeah, she's minus 190, but I feel like Cornolle can make it a lot more competitive just by landing big shots, having big moments, coming forward, actually giving a shit. And that's something that Rosa just wants to go out there and land a lot of pitter-patter volume across 15, whereas Cornolle's going to try to knock you out. So, yeah, I think it goes to decision at a very high clip. I think it comes into the hands of the crooked, corrupt judges, and who knows what the hell they think. So, yeah, pass on that one. Estevam Ribovics going against Elvis Brener. We got Ribovics minus 250, Brener plus 210. And I do have a bet here. I like the Ribovics live bet. I think that we might see Brener go out there and grapple, which would be very smart to go out there and grapple Ribovics, who just doesn't have any takedown defense. But Ribovics is a guy that kind of gets better as the fight goes on. He's a guy that has unlimited cardio, unlimited volume. And I went back and watched some of his fight, like against Zellhuber and Hackbrass. Like, if he's landing these same shots against Brener, I think he's knocking out Brener. And, I know a lot of people like Brener. He's a dog. He's a dog. He's tough, but I just don't think he's the best fighter in the world. I thought he lost it to Hugov fight. He was on his way to losing the Guram Kudutaladze fight. He doesn't throw much volume. He doesn't offensively grapple as much as he should. He's a walking punching bag. I think this should be Ribovics having a field day on the feet. So, yeah, I like Ribovics here. I was truly expecting a lot more money to come in on Brener throughout the week. I thought Brener would be a popular dog, but that just doesn't seem to be the case. I like Ribovics, and I think he's live to knock out Brener, preferably in rounds 2 or rounds 3. So I took a 0.75 unit shot on Ribovics to win in rounds 2 or rounds 3 by knockout at plus 390. And yeah, I think if he hits Brener with some of these same shots that he hit Zellhuber especially with, I'm not sure how that fight didn't get stopped. Maybe it was a Herzog thing. And even the Hackbrass, he landed some big shots against Hackbrass. I kind of feel like he's live for the late finish there, so that's how I'm playing it. Up next, we got Mateusz Rebecki going against Chris Duncan. I took a 2-unit shot on Rebecki. at minus 200 here to win a unit. And I didn't want to mess around with the props in this one because I do lean inside the distance, but the inside the distance prop isn't that great. It's around even money, which is fine, but I could see Rebecki knocking out Chris Duncan, who's been knocked out before, who's been dropped a ton. I could see Rebecki submitting Chris Duncan, who got submitted by Manuel Torres. I could see Rebecki winning a decision just by being the minute winner on the feet, landing big shots, and also mixing in the occasional takedowns and getting some top control. So I feel like there's a lot of paths here for Rebecki, and Duncan's a guy that, he's cashed twice in a row as a dog, both by guillotine. And yeah, I definitely picked Vallejos against Duncan, and Vallejos was looking career best against him until he got caught in the guillotine. And then I definitely liked Vucenic against Duncan, and that was probably Duncan's best performance to date, but I just think Rebecki is much better than both Vallejos and Vucenic, and I don't think he's getting caught in a guillotine, quite frankly. So I like Rebecki here outside of like a guillotine or maybe Duncan landing a big shot, which I don't think that's too likely. I think Rebecki wins however way he really wants there. So 2 units on the Rebecki money line at minus 200. And then we got the main event, Tatsuro Taira going against Hong Sung Park. We got Taira minus 330, Hong Sung Park plus 270. Quite frankly, I think the line should be wider here, to be honest. I know Park's a solid fighter, and I like Park. I think Park's a good prospect. I think he has power on the feet. I think that he has a good submission game as well. But this is just an astronomical step up in competition here for Hong Sung Park, going from Sunguk Choi, Shannon Ross, and Carlos Hernandez being his best win. Like, this is an astronomical step up competition. Like, I don't think I've seen a bigger step up in competition for a fighter. I mean, you look at Park, he has 10 wins. I don't even count 7 of those, and I barely count 3 of those. So yeah, I like Taira here. I think it's a levels fight for me. Park will be back. He will be back, but it's a levels fight. I mean, this guy Taira just went life and death with a top 3 flyweight in Brener Royval. I think this fight's going to hit the mat at some point, and once it does, we're going to see that this is a levels fight on the ground. I think Taira gets that sub. I'm on Tatsuro Taira inside the distance, minus 105 for 2 units. You can actually get that as good as plus 105. So I think that's a solid look. Park's been to the 3rd round only once. I think the fight doesn't go decision's a good look as well, but I'm on Taira inside the distance, 2 units at minus 105. So that's what I got for you guys for this week, and be on the lookout in the comments, and of course, if you're on dfsbythenumbers.com, I might post a Hail Mary parlay for this week. I'll touch on the legs shortly here, but I like Taira, inside the distance, 2 units, minus 105, Bashi, under 2.5 rounds, same game parlay, 2 units, plus 105, Zaleski, Dos Santos, inside the distance, 1.25 units, plus 185, the Estevam Bunes fight ends by sub, 1 unit plus 330. Ribovics round 2-3 KO, 0.75 units plus 390. And then my 2 moneyline bets are Rebecki, 2 units minus 200. And then Klein, 1 unit plus 140. And I'm thinking about cooking up a Hail Mary parlay. If I do, I'll throw it in the comments and pin it. But yeah, I think Bashi inside the distance is a solid parlay leg. I think that Rinya Nakamura is a great parlay leg at minus 405. I think that Tatsuro Taira at minus 330 is a good parlay leg. So yeah, I might cook something up and throw together like a Hail Mary parlay. And I know I said I wasn't going to do parlays, but I mean, come on, it's a Hail Mary. It's fun, it's big odds, and could be worth a shot. But yeah, I might put something together in the comments there. Yeah, that's about all I got. Hoping for a winning week. If it's a winning week, I'll be singing Zombie by the Cranberries next week in honor of Priscilla Cachoeira Fight Week. And if not, I might hang it up in terms of singing on camera, because it might be a cursed thing. We'll see. So best of luck, everybody, for UFC Vegas 108, and we'll talk to you soon. See you later.